Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 89 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on November 23rd, 2021. It is the most wonderful time of the year. Thanksgiving is this week. It's this week. You guys ready? I'm ready. I'm going to go hunting. Totally am. First hunt for me of the season. That's right. Super stoked. Gonna go hunting, disconnect, have a remote Thanksgiving, and really enjoy it. That's my plan, frankly. Get out of here, as it were. I'm super excited about that. And given that, I was thinking, what better way to kick that off but with a special data release for you folks and some Pew Science member data too. I was thinking I'd give you that. So we'll get to that on today's episode. It's going to be a little weird because I bet some of you are going to be listening to this podcast, especially guys that are like on the West Coast or in other time zones, and you're going to listen to this and the data won't be live yet. It'll go live Wednesday morning Central Time. So if you're listening to this before because you're some kind of time traveler, well, just be patient for a few more hours, okay? Okay. I hope you guys are gearing up for deer season. If you haven't already been out in the field, I haven't. I mean, I've been out, but I haven't been hunting yet. If you haven't been out in the field already, I hope you have a chance to get out there soon. I have actually already received tons of feedback from folks, and you folks are sending me photos of your successful hunts. It's been great. It's been awesome. So I've been loving the photos of your suppressed rifles for murdering deer. Congrats on the animals. Man, you guys have really shown some awesome stuff. Some people showing me their first bucks that they've taken, and it's been with a suppressed rifle. So it's not only their first buck, but it's the first time hunting suppressed as well. I'm like, holy crap. Talk about a lot of firsts for you guys. So that's really neat. So keep those coming. Keep sharing those. I really like to take those and reshare them to folks to kind of show everyone how many folks are hunting suppressed. I think they're just so great. I think we're well on our way to normalizing suppressed small arms for at least, some of the firearm hobbyists and everything, the hunters and everything. So it's pretty cool. It's just baby steps. It's really great. And so, to those of you who still don't have a silencer for rifle hunting, you can start your research now. And when you're ready to get one place you can do so, if you are so inclined, is Silencer Shop. The J Situation Podcast is proudly sponsored by Silencer Shop. It's the most efficient and intelligent way to purchase silencers. As a silencer consumer, they're not only my dealer of choice, but my infrastructure of choice. They are. I really just like using the kiosk system, frankly. I think it's nice. Because, they have done a lot of cool stuff. They basically made this entire closed system within their kiosk that minimizes the likelihood of errors in your paperwork. It's a combination of the QR code on the Form 4 and the encrypted biometric data in the kiosk that's stored for every purchase. So basically, you go to the website, you buy a silencer, you pick your dealer. After all the process is done, everything is signed digitally, and it's all sitting there encrypted in their system. And you don't have to deal with envelopes, licking stamps, calling your dealer to ask if the Form 4 has come back, calling your dealer to ask if the Form 4 has gotten sent out. It's like, oh man, come on. Silencer Shop takes care of it all. So it's pretty cool. It minimizes the likelihood of errors. When the form is going through the process and gets to the ATF, the ATF can scan the code, and it's not the fastest thing, but it's definitely not as error prone as a manual method. So hey, we'll take all we can get. So yeah, it's the reason Silencer Shop has grown. It's kind of like a one-stop shop for your silencers there. No transfer fees, no paperwork errors. It's just you and your silencer with no drama. It truly is silencer ownership simplified. They're good folks. Good folks over at Silencer Shop. They try to, I guess they try to keep things in stock. I guess you don't necessarily have to have stuff in stock there. I guess it just depends on the dealers and everything. You can always use their system for other stuff too. Like I know like a lot of people like to use them for other types of services as well. I know they have like trusts and stuff like that, single shot trusts, and it's all kinds of ways you can kind of get around the bureaucratic headache of owning the NFA items. There's little tricks you can use. So, they're pretty good about that. So, go check them out if you like, and if not, well, don't. Secondly, and most importantly, the J Situation podcast is also sponsored by Pew Science, pushing the silencer industry forward one test at a time. Visit pewscience.com for the suppression rating. It is the simplest and most accurate hearing safe rating for your suppressed small arms. All right. The suppression rating is very simple. It is based on true human sound perception. So in that way, it's simple. It's very complicated to compute, but Pew Science takes care of that for you. Okay, it's in Section 5 of the Silencer Sound Standard on pewscience.com. The standard walks you through gunshot noise. It's sort of like Wikipedia, kind of a boring physics lecture, but, it's a little bit fun. I try to make it a little bit entertaining because it's about silencer sound. There's 7 parts, and they're all on pewscience.com for you to read. And if you haven't seen it, that's fine. If it's overwhelming to you, that's also fine. That's fine. Just go to Section 5. It describes the suppression rating in detail there. It lets you know how silencers stack up in comparison to one another with regard to sound at the muzzle and at the shooter's ear. And it gives you a hearing-safe dose limit for the particular platforms on which the silencers are tested. Again, it's directly tied to human perception. If the number's higher, it's going to sound better. If it's lower, it's probably going to sound louder. It correlates with the human ear. So if you are a human, which I'm 99% sure you are, it will probably work for you. Now, if you have hearing damage, there are some things to think about, but Pew Science can also help you understand that too. You can always send me an email at tech@pewscience.com and we can talk about that and steer you in the right direction. Now, if you like, you can go to the 6th section of the standard on the website and all the reviews are there. And if you say, Jay, those reviews, those are very detailed. There's a lot of information to those. Can you just give me a summary of kind of how things are stacking up? I say, no problem. Section 7 is the rankings. And it has a database tool there. There's a table. It's sortable, filterable. And if you see something you like and you want to dig in more, now that you've kind of narrowed things down, you can click on the link in the table and that link will take you back to Section 6 and you can grab a nice cup of hot chocolate and dive into some combustion physics about each silencer. Yeah, go wild. As always, if you are a manufacturer and you would like to use Pew Science for private testing or consulting services, we got you, fam. There's a form on the website with which you can submit that inquiry. Your contact information and all test data will be held in strict confidence. Okay, and unless, of course, when we're finished with the contracted effort and you would like to share your data and analysis with the world, I will certainly be happy to do that and author a publication on pewscience.com. And I've done that a couple times for some clients. They like to be able to showcase the performance of their product on the website. I say, no problem. I did the testing and analysis. I'd be happy to show it to the world for you. Okay, but that doesn't happen unless they want it. So, if you're a company and you'd like to, use Pew Science for R&D, there is that option. And, you can support this podcast, you can support Pew Science, and you can support all the testing I do by joining with a membership at pewscience.com. When you join, you get more data. You get special articles sometimes, like I actually, by the time you're listening to this podcast, it'll probably be live on the website. There's going to be a special member article for you guys, and in all the other reviews you get more data in those too. So besides supporting Pew Science and keeping it going, you also get more information there for you on the website. There's also a new donate feature on the review page and the podcast page. I kind of put it in a bunch of places. I didn't know where you would find it. Folks ask me, they would say, hey, I want to give a little bit more than a membership, but you don't really have a mechanism for that. I said, no problem. I'll put the donate function on there. You can click the donate button and it's there if you want. And if not, that's okay too. No problem. And it means a lot if you donate. That supports the podcast. That supports Pew Science directly. But, there is something you can do that's free. It doesn't cost you anything. You can always rate the podcast a good rating on your favorite podcast provider like iTunes. And what that will do is it will help the algorithm and then therefore normalize the use of suppressed small arms to the general populace. See, the more people that listen, the more people that read the stuff, that, find it when they search, the better chance we have of spreading the good word about silencers and suppressed small arm weapon systems. That really is the overarching goal of this entire thing, this entire journey. When you really think about it, it is. Okay, I have 4 topics for you today, and it's kind of crazy. First topic, Sound Signature Review 658, the rugged razor on the 5.56 Mark 18. That's right. It's live right now if you're listening to this, and it's Wednesday morning Central. And if you're listening to this earlier, well, you're in the future. And my time travel mechanism wasn't as fast as yours, so congratulations. Okay, so hold your horses and go to bed, because when you wake up, it'll be here. Okay? Happy Thanksgiving. Topic 2, Pew Science Member Research Supplement 659. It's going to come out at the same time as the Rugged Razor review, and this research supplement is going to be the Rugged Razor with a 5.56 end cap on the Mark 18. That's right. It's a comparison. What happens when you take a 30 caliber rifle silencer, you put it on a freaking loud 5.56 gun, and then you put the 5.56 end cap on it? How does that help you? Does it help you? Does it hurt you? Where does it help? Where does it hurt? That's Pew Science Member Research Supplement 659. That's only for Pew Science members. That's a thank you for your support. So enjoy that. Okay. And then topic 3, listener questions. That's right. Let's dive back into that. Some pre-Thanksgiving Day queries. You folks always ask such great questions, so I think the community benefits from that. So we'll go ahead and answer some of those. And then finally, topic 4, thank you all again for your support. The Pew Science Army is numerous and motivated and intelligent. Frankly, I think it's the highest quality subset of gun enthusiasts on the planet, if I'm being honest with you. So, and I am. Furthermore, those that are members are literally changing the game for everyone. We are in your debt. So now go eat some turkey and be merry. Okay, that is what my directive to you. If nothing else, if you stop listening right now, that's fine. I just ask that you eat turkey and be merry. Okay, if you don't like turkey, eat chicken. I don't know why we have to eat birds. Probably eat some other animal. Okay. Topic 1 at a time of 13 minutes and 4 seconds. All right, get some water here. Okay, yeah, this is a little bit weird. Topic 1, Sound Signature Review 658, the Rugged Razor on the 5.56 Mark 18, which is live right now in the future. This is Future Jay talking to you, maybe. Yeah, so I don't normally do that. I don't normally talk about the review upon release. I usually wait. So this, the 5.56 data analysis is continuing, my friends. It is. Then the Mark 18, it's a cruel mistress. It's cruel because it really does a number on silencer performance. It highlights a non-ideal case for 5.56 suppression, despite being an incredibly popular platform. And popular, I say, because if you are just now tuning into this podcast, and if you are relatively new to Pew Science, you may not be aware that I did a lot of user polling to decide on the first 5.56 public test host platform. I did. An SBR, or short barrel rifle, was a huge desire from the community, and the Mark 18 was by and large the most popular. So here we are. Okay, you guys asked for this, and we're in it now. It's here. It's devastating, and it's breaking hearts. It's gonna break more before this is all done. So that's some foreshadowing for you. The Rugged Razor was last reviewed back in Sound Signature Review 616. That's 42 articles ago, if you're keeping score at home, right? Because if this is that right? Am I doing my math right? I am, because, yeah, so this is Sound Signature Review 658. So, yeah, 616 was 42 articles ago. That's a lot. Now, in that early review, we looked at the performance of the Razor on the standard 20-inch barrel bolt-action rifle, chambered in .308. Yeah. We used supersonic 7.62 by 51 NATO. Yeah. You know, you're used to seeing that on that host with that 20-inch .308. Yeah. And I think the results agreed with what most people who have shot the Razor see. It's not super loud, but it's not super quiet. And for the size, it's not the worst thing, right? Not the best, not the worst. That's kind of what you saw on .308. I mean, you know, just crudely to describe that. I mean, I'm sure there's a podcast episode. If you search on pewscience.com, you can search through the show notes and on the podcast page, and you'll find where I discuss the review of the Razor on .308. I discuss all the reviews with you. So, excuse me. So yeah, you can go back and listen to what I said about that. I can't even remember everything I said, but it's there, and the review's on the website. You can go peruse it. Now, I will say, the silencer I tested, it's my own personal rugged Razor. Like, and it's sitting in front of me right now on my desk here. I have shot this silencer on machine guns, on bolt actions, on a .308 AR, killing pigs at a ranch I hunt. This silencer has been used for murder. Okay, I have killed quite a bit of things with it. And back in late August, I tested it on the Mark 18. I have tested it on a few 5.56 platforms, actually. But the test data you see today is for the Mark 18. In review 658, that's the Mark 18 test. And boy, howdy, this is the first 30 caliber rifle silencer you have seen from Pew Science on 5.56. Interesting, and I'm not going to go into the technical details of the review yet. I'm gonna save that for the next podcast episode, per typical. I like to give you guys a chance to read the review, digest it, and understand the results. I want the shock to wear off. Okay, I want discussion to take place, user opinions to percolate the interwebs, the internet. I want the internet to discuss it. And I want folks to be in a more calm state of mind when I discuss the data on the podcast. I think it's better that way. It seems more reasonable and smooth, because right now you're going to freak out. I feel like announcing a review and then talking about it right now, like in detail, is going to rob you of the opportunity for independent study. And I think there's no better way to learn than to be inquisitive, think for yourself, and sleep on it a little bit, okay? And then next time I'll talk about it, we'll see what we see. Okay? I want you to read it, see what you think. You can ask any questions on social media, or email, or whatever you want to do. And then we get all that out of the way, and then maybe I talk to you about it. Talk about it next week on the podcast. Deal? Okay. Deal. It's a deal. Now, before we move on, I do want to say this silencer has a much larger bore than the dedicated 5.56 silencers you've seen up to this point, yeah? From Pew Science. And it only has 4 baffles, I think. Yeah, I'm looking through it right now. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 baffles. I always say that, and I always have to check myself. But yeah, the Razor only has 4 baffles. What does that do? I don't know, guys. What do you think it does? What happens when your hole is really big relative to the cartridge and it doesn't have a lot of baffles? What do you think happens to the suppression? Do you think it gets louder or quieter? Guys, this is episode 89 of this podcast. I have spoken to you for how many hours is that of me blabbing about combustion physics and silencers? I think you know exactly. You don't even have to. I think you know exactly what's going to happen. 4 baffles and as a big hole. So what happens? Well, get your guesses ready. All right, let's go to the next topic. Topic 2 at a time of 20 minutes and 12 seconds. Topic 2, Pew Science Member Research Supplement 659. I took the rugged razor and I changed the end cap to 556. And this article is live right now for members. Okay? Thank you for your support. You guys are making this happen. And a lot of people asked for this, but I figured to myself, I said, this is actually a very valuable topic. And you know who deserves value? The people that see the value in Pew Science. You value Pew Science by supporting it? I value you too. And here's some valuable data for you. How do you like them apples? Okay. I felt this was an appropriate article to publish concurrently with the main 556 review of the razor. I thought it was appropriate because, it's exactly what people are going to ask. I thought to myself, you know what they're going to ask? As soon as I publish this, they're going to want to know what happens. They're going to see the results. They're like, oh my God, the flow rate's super high. It only has 4 baffles. Oh my, can I fix it? What if I put a 556 end cap on it? I know you're going to ask. So I was like, well, I've already tested this in a couple platforms. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do this I'm going to test it on the standard Mark 18, and I'll just release that when I release the normal review, and that's what I'm doing. It seemed reasonable. It seemed prudent. It seemed appropriate, frankly. And, some of you are going to wonder, Jay, why would you take the time to write such an article? I'm telling you, it is one of the most requested topics for rifle silencers since I started doing this for 556, and I haven't been publishing 556 data until recently. So people are like, well, I think they kind of forgot. And then I started publishing 556 data, and everyone starts talking about all these 30 caliber silencers. I'm like, whoa, hold on. Why do you guys keep talking about 30 caliber rifle silencers like you know exactly what's going to happen when you have no idea what's going to happen? Like literally, this is the first 30 caliber silencer review this is the first 30 caliber silencer on a 5.56 weapon system you have seen tested properly in the history of the world. Right? You haven't seen any. Pew Science hasn't done it yet. I mean, this is the first time you're seeing it. So if Pew Science hasn't published it, what have you been basing the information on? Nothing, except for what you've heard people say or what you've heard yourself. I can tell you right now, everyone that has shot the 5.56 silencers I've reviewed so far on the Mark 18 echoes the sentiment. People that have shot the RC2, they echo the sentiment. The OSS, they echo it. The Saker, they know the back pressure is crazy. They've seen that. So now the Razor, we'll see. I don't know if people just haven't been saying it, but this thing has a big bore. So people ask me all the time, they say, how does NCAP change silencer performance? And the rugged rifle silencers are a very common product line that can use changeable end caps, guys. They are, and they aren't cheap. Rugged sells. I think on the website, Rugged sells those end caps for like $80. So it's a non-trivial item. I mean, that's when you think about it. I mean, you can buy a few mags for $80. Should you spend your money on mags, or should you buy the end cap? You know what I mean? It's like you got to ask yourself, like, why would I get the end cap? Is it going to do anything for me? And what do I need to think about? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. What and exactly physically what is it doing? And physically what will it do for me? And does it depend on my weapon system? These are all questions that are really important. And so yeah, people are interested in these accessories and the modular nature of 30 caliber silencers. Like when I say modular, and that they're usable in a lot of different platforms. They're adaptable to multiple platforms due to their larger bore. So it really does lend one to think, hey, I wonder if I could get better performance out of a smaller hole for 5.56 if I bought the razor for use on my 5.56 AR. Like, if I bought the razor and it's a 30 caliber bore, should I put a 5.56 end cap on it? So, I bought the 5.56 end cap when I bought my razor like several years ago before I started Pew Science. I mean, I'm a consumer just like you. And I did notice a difference on certain weapon systems using it. So I thought to myself, I've tested this a lot. Why not put the speculation to rest once and for all? And even better, give the article to Pew Science members as a thank you for your support. Yeah. And, you guys are the reason this research even happened. So the article is literally for you, by you. You guys made it possible. It's a team effort. Grassroots. Pew Science. It's Pew Science. So members go wild. This article actually has a lot of information in it. And, I think a lot of you should be able to understand it really quickly. But there's a lot of info in it. Some of it's counterintuitive. Some of it is intuitive. And so take a look. Examine it. Digest it. Let me know what you think. We might talk a little bit more about it next time, but I'm not going to steal the thunder from the main razor review technical discussion just yet, because we got to talk about that too. So, so you members, happy Thanksgiving. Okay, you got a lot of stuff to read right now, and I hope you members enjoy this one. You definitely deserve it. You guys have been so great, and you're helping me do this. I could not do this without you. So this is for you. Okay. I hope you enjoy that. All right. Topic 3 at a time of 26 minutes and 48 seconds. All right. Get some water, please. All right. Listener questions. Bum, bum, bum. Topic 3. Let's dive back in. Pre-Thanksgiving Day question series coming in hot. Get my computer and open the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. All right, Microsoft Excel, boom. My Excel updated the other day. I don't know, is it like I don't have Office 365 on this computer, but it must have been, you know what it must have been? It must have been a Windows update, because the thing with the undo button and the redo button and the save button and the new button, and you can add other buttons to it's called the Quick Access Toolbar. Quick Access Toolbar used to be up top, but now it's like below the ribbon bar. And I was like, I saw that the other day and I was like, what? I was like, I didn't do that. Must have been a Windows thing. Windows is freaking, isn't that crazy with Windows? You used to just install Windows and you're good to go. Now they do everything they can to try to make you, create a Microsoft account and log into Windows. Like, I'm not logging in to a Microsoft account on my personal laptop. You crazy? Well, I'm not doing that. So you can avoid it, but you have to it's not intuitive. You have to go to extra steps to avoid doing cloud stuff with Microsoft. In fact, the version of Office I use on this machine, and I know I'm off topic right now, but just relax, okay? The version of Office I use on this machine, I want to say, how do I even do that? File, is it help? About? No, it used to be like that. File, account. Here it is. Microsoft Office Professional Plus 2019. Yeah. So I'm using a 2019 Office product. And I think this might be the last version that isn't like a subscription-based thing. Yeah, and right here in Excel, it's like sign into your Office to get your documents from anywhere by signing into Office. Your experience just gets better and more personalized on every device you use. No, it doesn't. I don't want that. No. Get your documents from anywhere. Yeah, you know how you do that? USB stick or email. I don't trust the cloud. Get off my lawn. Okay. Let's go back into our wondrous spreadsheet. This is going to be questions from solicitation 3. of listener questions taken directly from social media from folks listening to the podcast and following me on the Instagram. You can submit your own questions to the J Situation Instagram account or Pew Science LLC Instagram account when I solicit them with one of those Q&A story things, and I will let you know when it's for the podcast. I might do a Q&A here in a couple of days just for fun, but when I do a podcast Q&A, you'll know. So if you're just tuning into this, I do this every once in a while, and we've amassed quite a bit because right now we're going to go ahead and see where we left off. Last time I did this, I left off on question 155, sub-question 27 of the third solicitation. And the question from this lady or gentleman was, if I always plan on running a suppressor, should I get a muzzle brake? It's going on a 10.5-inch 5.56. I just said that weird. Should I get a muzzle brake? No, they were asking, should they use a brake or a flash hider, And I went on to answer that question, and I asked them about which type of silencer they were using, how 5.56 is very punishing on short barrels, and that might be a good idea, or maybe not, depending yada yada. So if you wanted to go and see and listen to that, listen to me answer that question, you can go to the last time I did listener questions on the podcast. Okay, so right now we're going to move on to question 156, sub question 28. Do you plan on testing on how the slow and fast burning powders affect sound signature? Oh, what a good question. I need some water for that one. Great question, sir, ma'am. You're either a reloader or you're a physicist or something cool. Sure. I mean, that's a thoughtful, that's a meaningful, topical. Frankly, it's a timely question. I was literally talking about that with a coworker the other day. I think it might have been earlier this week. What is it, Tuesday? Yeah, maybe it was yesterday. Yesterday, Monday, I was in the office. Yeah, it was lunchtime. My coworker, he just happens to be a mechanical engineer. And he just happens to specialize in combustion physics. Go figure. Yeah, we were talking about combustion duration and different barrel lengths. He's a gun guy too. He's not a gun guy like me, but he's a gun guy, and which is cool. We were talking about combustion duration and different barrel lengths and 5.56 versus 308, and we were talking about all kinds of stuff. And anyway, back to your question. I think this is going to be tested by happenstance at first, and then probably I'll test it in a dedicated way to prove out some hypotheses later. I think that's how this is going to go. I think it's a really smart question, and I think we stand to learn a lot about silencer performance by doing it. I mean, what we've already seen happen in some silencer designs when we change combustion duration, we've seen that some silencers can deal with a really long duration and others get inefficient. But if the combustion duration is shorter, some silencers aren't as easily overwhelmed and they do okay. It's interesting, right? So some silencers are better for certain applications, as we know. And burn rate can influence things, as can case capacity. I mean, how is combustion duration influenced by burn rate and case capacity and barrel length? Good question. And then, how is silencer performance influenced by combustion duration and pressure? We always talk about pressure and impulse to the shooter, which is essentially we're talking about pressure and duration. When you talk about that's the output. When you talk about the input to a silencer, you're talking about pressure and duration. Combustion pressure and duration. How long? How long is it burning? And how much of it is burning? We talk about a lot of things on this podcast that are time dependent. We talk about flow rate. Everyone talks about back pressure, but they're really talking about flow restriction. What's flow? What's a rate? Time dependent. Combustion is time dependent. Everything that's happening on during your gunshot is time dependent. Nothing's static. Nothing's just sitting there. And I think that's one of the reasons why this can be so confusing to people, because a lot of people are not used to dealing with dynamics. A lot of people are just static folks. They're just like, 140 dB, all those guys. It's like, nah, man, it's dynamic, dude. It's dynamic. That 140 dB impulse stuff, that's not real. It's too simple. Stuff's more complicated than that. And so we're getting into that. So, sir, ma'am, this question, let me repeat it for the benefit of folks. Do you plan on testing on how the slow and fast burning powders affect sound signature? I think, okay, so my short answer is yes. My longer answer that is more succinct than all the stuff I just said is we're going to figure it out. Okay? Okay. It's part of the riddle of silence that we're figuring out. And okay, and for some of you purists, and I know there's some of you listening right now, some of you already know the answer to how a lot of this affects silencer sound, but that's not what this lady or gentleman asked. Okay, and there's a lot of factors. So I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Okay, great question. I'm glad you brought that up, and I think that's going to be great for the community to ponder over time. Okay, question 157, sub-question 29. What silencer are you most excited about getting your hands on and testing? So many, actually. Oh my God, that's such a good question too. I will say, and I'm going to say this, probably the new SIG rifle silencers, those are up there. No, dude, the YHM Turbo and the Turbo K2. Oh, you know what? I just got a Turbo. There's a YHM Turbo that I just got in right today. I have with me. So I have the Turbo. Turbo K was delayed. Don't have a Turbo K. It's fine. I'll get it. So yeah, new SIG stuff and YHM Turbo stuff is like, I'm pretty psyched, especially about the Turbo. So that's coming up. Super, super excited about that. There are some other things too, but these are high on my list due to some curiosity with all of them. And the SIG for obvious reasons. I want to know if what they said in their marketing is correct, and why or why not, and how. Or how not? How is it not? You know what I mean? Like, why? Is it correct or not? And why is what I want to know. And I will figure that out. Okay. And then the YHM stuff, I mean, I've shot them before, but what happens on the Mark 18? How do they stack up with some of the other stuff, particularly with the Surefire RC2? Like, I want to know, right? And it's a dedicated 5.56 silencer, and I really want to keep doing those. I really want to understand a lot more of those before we go really deep in this 30 caliber on 5.56. I don't want to jump around too much. So I'm like, yeah, I want to know what the YHM does. So that's cool. I'm excited, and you asked what I'm excited about. That's why I'm excited about that. And I think the YHM Turbo, I think that's going to be a very important test for the state of practice in general. I think we stand to learn a lot from it. So that should be super awesome. So yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff coming up I'm excited about. And you know what? There's some more stuff coming I can't even talk about, so that's cool too. I actually just got a silencer in today. I'm not even going to tell you what it is that I'm excited about testing. And then I actually have some proposals out for Pew Science corporate testing for some Pew Science clients. For some manufacturers. We'll see how some of those go. You never know. Could be awesome. Could be good. Could be bad. Could be great. Probably going to be great. I mean, if they're Pew Science clients, you know that they're already like a step ahead. So it could be awesome. So we'll see what's happening with that. And then, some things I think could be incredibly cool and high value for the industry. We'll see. So we'll see if those move forward. If not, they'll come eventually anyway. If you don't see them published, sure, I'll test them eventually, or maybe not. There's a lot of things to do. You never know what the future holds. Okay. Oh, I hope that gives you a little bit window into what I'm excited about, sir, man. That's a good question. Okay, next question. Question 158, sub-question 30 of the third solicitation. Does bullet shape, spear point, flat nose, jacketed hollow point, etc., make a significant contribution to sound signature? Oh man, you guys are going deep today. Man, get some water. You're asking me about powder burn rate. You're asking me about bullet shape. What is this? A technical podcast? No, that's an excellent question. That's a really good question. Let me talk through it so I don't completely embarrass myself here. Okay, let me think about this. I would assume you'd be talking about subsonic flight, because the shock wave created by supersonic flight is going to occur regardless of nose shape. I'm sure you know that. When you speak about small projectiles like those fired from small arm cartridges, you know that. When you're subsonic, you can reduce drag with a rounded nose. You can. When you're supersonic, you're going to need a sharper point. I think, this is a really good question. You can do that. You know what you can do, sir, ma'am? You can go research this yourself, and I bet you, if I remember correctly, I bet you're going to find a chart. I'm picturing it in my head right now. You can find a chart of drag versus Mach number for different bullet shapes. Or at least, I'm sorry, not necessarily bullet shapes. Well, it is for bullet shapes probably, but for objects that like nose cones. Yeah? Like if you're a missile, like I'm not, okay, look, I've used one for some different shapes in stuff I do, but I'm not a missile guy. I'm not a missile guy, but the missile guys, those guys are cool, and they have I know I've seen it. There's a pretty good chart for the different nose shapes versus Mach number, and drag, and the drag created. And so, okay, so here's, I know I'm kind of being a little bit weird. Where I'm going with this is that it may be that the pressure wave in the subsonic realm is more severe with more frontal area. And I guess I wonder if you propagate a shock a little different when the drag is different. When you move to transonic and supersonic. So hear me out, right? So, like your shock wave will probably be weaker when you have less drag. You understand? So if you're following me, so it may be possible that the shocks that you propagate downstream of the bullet, not upstream of the bullet, but downstream, because remember we talked about this in a previous episode where creating a shock wave is a downstream event. It propagates downstream of the disturbance at the Mach angle. Remember my example? You get your AR, your suppressed AR, go out and shoot at the dirt, and then go shoot across a canyon. You shoot at the dirt, it's going to be not that loud. You shoot it across the canyon, you're gonna propagate that shock wave at the Mach angle downstream of the bullet down that entire canyon, and it's gonna be reflecting off of all those surfaces, and it's gonna sound like an airplane flying by. How do you think? Why do you? Because the planes are so loud. Yeah, so you're gonna hear a across that canyon, and that's that shock. Well, it's actually not one shock, it's a bunch of shocks, and they continue to propagate. So, when you have more frontal area, you have more drag, and that might make a more intense shock. So, if you are doing supersonic, it could be possible that, I don't know, the shocks might be lower magnitude with more pointy bullets. Maybe. But then again, I could be wrong. I don't know. It's going to depend on your velocity regime. I'm going to tell you this right now. The drag on a projectile at different Mach numbers, meaning at different multipliers of the speed of sound, like at Mach 0.5 to Mach 3 or Mach 4 or 5, the drag on different shapes changes. Okay? Like, it's a spectrum, and it's different for everyone. So you can find a chart. I'm an engineer. I'm not so what do engineers do? Like we go, we understand how something works, and then we like use the practical applications with it. Like we do practical things with it. I can tell you right now, I'm not going to drive it for you, but I can tell you there's a table. You just look up the drag coefficient for all different shapes versus Mach number. Okay, there's like a graph you can look at. Okay, it's fine. So it's not. I mean, someone's already done all the work for you, so you don't have to. Look, I could measure this, and it's a good question. This might not matter in practicality, but it could. It's literally rocket science, what you're asking right now. Like, I have to say, it's got to be a physicist or engineer who asked this question just to see what I would say. Because, like, who would even ask that, right? It's got to be. I mean, I guess it's possible. But I'm saying, like, I would love to discuss it more. I think that I need to find that table of the drag coefficients for different nose cone shape versus sonic velocity versus a Mach number. And then we go and we check our jacket hollow point, our spear point, our flat nose. We check the different ogives of the projectiles of the bullets, and we'd match them up to the different geometries. And we would pick. We could find some drag coefficients and and then we say, okay, how much more intense would the shock be? And then what we could do is we could go and look at the different weapons and silencers and look at the silencer waveforms. Be like, okay, this silencer, it has a coupled shock with the muzzle blast more than blah, 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 so it probably not. But this one, suppresses it's probably going to be more apparent with really high back pressure silencers, like really quiet rifle silencers, like the Hyperion or Nomad L. If you put a Hyperion and a Nomad L on a bolt action rifle, and with a supersonic, and you shot different bullet shapes, maybe you could tell. I don't know. Now, subsonically, really great question. I don't know. That is a really good question. And let me repeat it, just in case people didn't hear the whole question or you forgot. This later gentleman asked, does bullet shape, yada, yada, make a significant contribution to sound signature? And my answer to that is no. Because you use the word significant. Now, does it change the signature? My answer is yes, based on everything I just said. Okay. So it's not that I don't know, it's that I don't know everything. Okay, that's a great question. All right. I'm going to go on. How much time? Oh, we're only like 47 minutes in. We have plenty of time. Okay, let's go on. That's a good question. Thank you for asking that. I like that question. Yeah. Okay, question 159, sub-question 31. Are the JMac Customs RRD360 muzzle devices the best way to direct thread cans? Oh, okay. You guys are... Okay, these questions are getting hard. Frankly, I was not prepared. Okay, I'm to the Google Chrome. Yeah. All right, I'm going to Google it right now. JMac Customs. JMac Customs. I don't know what this is, and that's why I'm Googling it. I have no idea. 360. (24F X37). What? Oh, I just went to the jmaccustoms.com website. I'm clicking on the drawing. Okay, I just opened a CAD drawing. All right, let's look at this. What is this thing? Okay. Oh, I know what these are. Okay, guys. These are those. Okay, let me explain this for like people are going to be like, "What are you talking about?" Okay, let me do the best I can. Let me try to explain this verbally, knowing that you don't have a picture in front of you. Okay. So this is a JMac Customs muzzle device. And what these people have done is they've created a muzzle device that goes on the end of your threaded rifle barrel with, whatever threads you need to thread on. 5/8, metric, whatever, whatever your rifle's threaded. And then it is a muzzle brake or compensator, depending. I guess there's different models. And the threads on it I believe, thread directly to the rear of a silencer in like the 1 3/8 by 24 pattern. So like, like the standard thread pitch, like, like if you wanted to use a dead air chemo or like a Q plan B or whatever, you could put this muzzle brake in the back of one of those silencers and it would thread directly to the silencer. That's actually pretty wild. Interesting. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like instead of, I don't know, if like, okay, just for simplicity, let me pick on the dead air chemo. Dead air chemo is a muzzle brake or flash hider, and then you put that on your gun, and then you put the chemo adapter into the back of the silencer, and then you put the whole thing over the mount, and then you twist and you lock it on. This would take the place of the muzzle brake or flash hider on the gun, and you would need no chemo adapter on the silencer at all, and then you would just screw the silencer to this instead of screwing the silencer to the chemo. Or let me use the example of the Plan B from Q. Instead of having the cherry bomb on your gun and then the Plan B in the back of the silencer, you would have this thing on your gun and then screw the silencer onto this. So it takes out parts. So it seems like it could theoretically have a lower weight than a separate breaker compensator, flash hider, or whatever assembly, because it's all self-contained. It doesn't have two parts. It's just one part. Yeah? But also, now that I look at it, so I'm looking at a CAD drawing of it from their website. It also seems like it could carbon lock into the silencer body, because you're how are you preventing gas flow propagation into the threads? Am I looking at this drawing right? Hold on. Like I don't want to like misrepresent this. This is weird. All right, muzzle devices. I'm on their website just browsing now. Oh, here it is. So he said RD360. Did I look at the wrong? No, this is definitely that. No, I'm right. I'm right. That's exactly what this does. Yeah, RRD360 578S X3745. Weight 2.86 ounces. Barrel thread pitch 0.57828. Okay, whatever. And then external thread pitch 1.37524. So that's that 1.37524 I was talking about. Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, you thread the silencer directly onto this. Interesting. Yeah, it's going to carbon lock is what's going to happen, probably. So I guess if you don't want to take it off, so this one I'm looking at doesn't have a taper on it, but the other one I looked at did. But that taper's not doing anything. It's not. I don't know, guys. I don't know about these. I mean, it could work, but I mean, it's definitely lighter. This could be cool. I wonder if I can use that with the Helios QDTI. Might be good to protect the blast baffle in the TI when I mag dump. I wonder if that would work. I don't know. It might be too big. Interesting. Let me click back on this drawing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Might sound weird to you listening to this, but like you asked me the question. I'm like learning about it in real time right now. Let me click back on this drawing. There is like a little taper edge, but it doesn't do anything. Yeah, that taper is not going to interface with the taper on any silencer I'm aware of. And you know what this thing is going to do? It's just going to screw into the body of the silencer. It's going to index off the rear of the silencer onto that end flange they have, onto that flange. That's how it's going to index. So your question, sir, man, was, is it the best? Probably not. No, probably not the best at all. I can already see a deficiency. So I don't know. I mean, could it work? Absolutely. Could be awesome. I don't know if it's the best. I haven't tried it. Could it save weight? Yeah, probably save weight. Would it get stuck? I mean, yeah, probably. Depends on the use. Maybe not. I think it probably depends on the silencer because, it's threading directly to the silencer. So I don't know. You actually don't know what's going to happen. I wonder if they avoid a warranty. Could. I always wonder about that. Silencer companies void their warranties when you use different mounts they didn't design it for. You know what you're doing when you're doing this? You're changing the combustion dynamics in the silencer too. You're moving the origin. You're changing the jetting. I don't know, man. I know that consumers did benefit from the universal mount pitches and stuff, but it sure did open a Pandora's box, and it really did open silencer manufacturers to a lot of problems. I cannot help but think of Rugged and Surefire when I think about stuff like this, because they don't have to worry about people using other mounts with their silencers. And you know what? For a while, Q didn't either. Q didn't have to worry either for their Trash Panda, their Thunder Chicken, and then look at those companies who made the third-party Cherry Bomb stuff. They don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that third-party stuff isn't good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, who knows? What if it's not good? Interesting, yeah. What if you put a mount in a Q silencer that's threaded like a Cherry Bomb, but it doesn't have the diffusing elements, and it wrecks the blast baffle because it wasn't designed for that. What if you do that? That'd be no bueno. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that's a possibility. I mean, just think about it. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. So yeah, when I see stuff like this, I'm like, it's cool. I would not say it's the best. I don't know why you would think it's the best. It feels like a leading question to me, and I don't think you meant it like that. Because you said, are they the best? And if you're saying, are they the best, someone might have told you they're the best, and I'm here to tell you, they might not be. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying they might not be the best. Okay, that's the answer. That's my answer. I'm going to take a closer look at these, sir, man. Yeah, good question. Because now they're on my radar. I mean, I've seen them before, but I forgot about them. So thank you. Thank you for highlighting that. All right. Okay, next question. Question 160, sub-question 32 of the third solicitation. What's your favorite QD mount for suppressors with 1 3/8 by 24 threads? Are you serious? Talk about topical. We just talked about what's my favorite. What's my favorite QD mount for that universal thread pitch we just talked about? Well, I swear these questions are real. I'm reading these in the order received, guys. Like I transcribed these into a spreadsheet from the Instagram story responses directly. All right, so here we are. Now, favorite QD mount for that platform, that 1 3/8 by 24, the modular mount thingy. Favorite QD mount. I don't know. I keep saying this. I know it's getting old, but I don't have one, guys. I like the Rugged mount. I like the Surefire mount, and both of those mounts aren't perfect. But that's not what you're asking. You're asking about something you can use with that pseudo universal mount thread pitch, that 1 3/8 by 24. God, I still can't believe they did that. What are our choices? What do we got? We got the YHM now. We got the Dead Air Chemo, Silencer Co. ASR. We got the Q Plan B, the Dead Air Xeno. I haven't even held a Xeno. The JMac thing that we just talked about that I still have up on my screen. We talked about the third-party copies of the Q mount. You know, the Reardon, the Liberty Precision Machine stuff. The Griffin stuff that has the taper in the wrong place. That can get, and the Thunder Beast, actually Thunder Beast had that proprietary mount, but I'm pretty sure there's a company who makes one that lets you use their mounts in other people's silencers. So, and the Thunder Beast stuff has the taper in the wrong place, just like the Griffin stuff. It's like, what? They put the threads in front of I was like, what? Why'd you put the taper in the wrong place? It's weird. So yeah, there's a bunch to pick from. I'm sorry I don't have a personal favorite right now. It's probably because I don't use them. Personally, I don't have enough time to shoot all the different ones all the time, but I'm sure I'll find one that I like. Hey, maybe that SIG clutch lock thing will be cool. I mean, that won't be universal, but maybe they'll sell it or license it or something. Or maybe, I don't know. What else is there? You know what? I was just thinking, what if Surefire had like a universal in the back of their silencer? Wouldn't that be wild? Like, take one of the huge drawbacks of their silencer and just make that go away. Like, when I think about those Surefire rifles, I know this is not your question, sir, man, but when I think about those Surefire rifle silencers, that RC2, I think to myself, so many people don't like the way the mount is. I'm thinking to myself, what if you just didn't have that mount? We'll see. I wish I knew what they were going to do for their new stuff, but anyway. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm inclined to really kind of, you asked me what my favorite was. Thinking out loud, I kind of like simple and I kind of like direct thread. So I would say I would like something like a short cherry bomb type of thing or Xeno type of thing that's short and light. Something simple with a taper and threads to make that happen in the right place. So I'd probably go with something like a Reardon or a Liberty Precision Machine or something like that. I'm not necessarily endorsing those products. I'm telling you, like, that type seems reasonable. Seems like a reasonable thing to use, and I would like it black. Okay? I would like it black. Yeah. Something like that. I'm direct threaded right now, and when I'm using the RC2, I like the 3-prong. I need a brake. I need to test a brake, but for now I like the 3-prong. So just to show you what I use personally, but okay. All right. No, that's great. Okay, question 33 of this third solicitation. New SIG can testing. Emoji. Yeah, when I transcribe this, the emoji would be like the guy like with his finger, like he's like thinking like wondering emoji. This person asked, new SIG. Yeah, I just talked about it. Yeah, isn't that crazy? So you guys are like reading my mind in the past and future. I literally just alluded to that. To give you some more details, actually, I should be getting them in from a gracious dealer on loan. I am. I think the Form 3 might be in process right now. So I'm going to characterize the SIG stuff. Should be incredibly useful. I wonder how they will do. I do not know. I have not heard a lot about them from people, so I'm super stoked to try them and test them and analyze the data. What if they're super awesome? That would be exciting. What if they're not super awesome? It'd be certainly be good to know, wouldn't it? We shall find out. Pew science. Yeah. We'll find out. I promise. Okay. How are we doing on time? All right. We're over an hour. I'll do one more. All right. Question 162. So question 34. Thoughts on effects of pushing silencer parameters to impractical extremes. Diameter and length. Oh my God. Are you freaking design engineers now? All you asking questions. What are you trying to make silencers? Stop. No, just kidding. Don't stop. Always follow your dreams. That's a good question. Impractical extremes. Thoughts on effects of pushing silencer parameters to impractical extremes. For example, length or diameter. All right, let's talk about length. Let's talk about length first. Okay, I think to make something very quiet, length can benefit you significantly. It can. Because you can add a lot of baffles, can't you? Yeah, and if they're good baffles, you can make stuff really, really quiet. You can. Or you could. So yeah, lengths that are really long provide a lot of opportunity to trap gas and cool it. I'm like, today, I'm having problems talking. Yeah, when you're really long and you got a lot of good baffles, you have a lot of opportunity to trap gas and cool it. And you have a lot of surface area. You got a lot of gas holding area too, a lot of holding volume. You got a lot of, you can do a lot. You can do a lot with length, with a silencer. Length is very good. Long silencers can be really quiet if they are designed correctly. Now, larger diameter stuff, well, that can be cool too. But you have to really take advantage of that larger diameter. You can't just do it by scaling up your baffles. It's not going to work. I've tested stuff for clients like that. It's not going to work. I hope some of those folks might be listening. And believe me, folks, you guys are my clients. I'm not going to disparage you, but you've seen when you just take that larger diameter, when your silencer is too short and your baffle design is just scaled up, it doesn't work. You have to take advantage of that volume in a different way because you have less baffles. You have to continue to do work. You can't just scale up a cone. It's just not going to do it. The Hyperion and things like it, the Nomad, which is really a modified Omega baffle, Hyperion hybrid. And I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out that's just going to copy what the Hyperion's doing. I promise. I mean, the Nomad already copied part of it, and it's going to continue. Trust, I can feel it just because of what we're learning. But that's good. Probably in the big scope of things, people are going to tweak and learn and do things, and everyone's going to get quieter. Everything is the reality. Now, those type of silencers, they're probably best suited for this if done correctly. If you want to make something short, with a really big diameter, or just keep it the same length but make it even bigger diameter, like if done correctly, I think the Hyperion tech could probably be modified in a way with extra chambers to possibly make this work, but you would have to vent gas to multiple chambers immediately to make it worthwhile. Like you need to, I think it can be done, like you say, impractical extremes, like a 3-inch diameter silencer. Like I think you could do it, but you got to do it intelligently inside. Think Delta P Brevis. I don't know what that thing looks like inside, but I can imagine what it looks like. I bet I know what they did. People talk about it. They say it's not the best, but they say it's like surprising. At least I've heard some subjective opinions about it, but I don't know how much those are worth. I've never shot one or held one. But from what I remember, it's a short and fat silencer. And a short and fat rifle silencer, I think I know what you have to do inside, and it's not a regular baffle. Promise you that. It's not a cone. It's not going to work. We already know that. So those are my thoughts. I don't know if that helps. I don't know if that answers your question. Those are the thoughts off the top of my head. We'll probably do a whole episode on that. But yeah, good question, sir, ma'am. Okay. Man, this round was actually particularly challenging to me. I had to really think. I like that. It's cool. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight that question in our spreadsheet here. Right. Yeah. Highlight that yellow. Take the highlighting away from the other one. Or have I been leaving them? I've been leaving them. That way we know kind of what per episode we've covered. I like that. It's kind of a tracking mechanism I have. Okay. I went to save it, and the save button's in the wrong place. Come on, guys. Come on, Microsoft. Tripping me up. All right. Close. Okay. We are done. I'm closing that. Boom. Closing that web browser because I don't want to look at the JMac thing. All right. All right. Let's move. I hope you guys enjoyed the answering of those questions. I enjoy that a lot. All right. Let's move into topic 4 at a time of 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 8 seconds. Okay. Topic 4. Thank you again for all the support, guys. We couldn't do it without you. The Pew Science Army is numerous. You're motivated. You're intelligent. I'm telling you, I say this all the time. You guys are the highest quality subset of gun consumers, I think, on the planet. like per capita. Per capita, the Pew Science members are the cream. The cream always rises to the top, as they say. What was this, cliche day? Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, you guys that are supporting are literally changing the game for everyone. And I think that we're all in your debt for it. And I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode. I gave you guys a lot of data today, especially you members. You get a double dose of data today. You'll see on the website, Wednesday morning Central Time, you're going to get somewhere between 7 and 7:30 Central Time. You're going to get some data. And it's just time for the holidays. You can share it with your families after Thanksgiving dinner. You can talk about combustion physics and silencer design to your grandma, while eating pumpkin pie. Yeah, how cool is that? You can't, you're like, oh man, put the whipped cream. Now let's talk about the boundary layer inside the silencer and how we've pressurized the interstitial space in the baffles with supersonic flow through this trash panda. And now the boundary layer exists, and we're just sliding right over that boundary layer, and we're not suppressing on this because the combustion duration is too high for the high pressure. Remember the movie theater analogy? That's what that is physically. You could talk to your grandma about that. Don't talk to her about the bloody movie theater, but when you're eating your pumpkin pie, you say, you ever wondered how to make a gunshot quiet, Grandma? Then she goes on to talk about her days as a operative, stacking bodies, kicking in doors like grandmas tend to do. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you guys see this as value added to you as a contributing member to the cause. You are helping me do this podcast. You're helping me do the research, the testing, the analysis, everything. So there are companies making cool stuff because of it and because of you. So thank you. Pew Science members, thank you to all of you who listen to the podcast and spread the word about Pew Science. Couldn't do it without you guys. Have a great holiday. Enjoy the time with your loved ones. Be safe, be merry, get full. Enjoy the fruits of your labor this year. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm going to go do some hunting. I'll be back next week, and we'll have some wonderful technical discussion about this data, okay? Okay, enjoy it. I will talk with you folks again soon. Bye.